Welcome to another quiet journey through the forgotten corners of the past. Tonight, we travel north to windswept coastlines, to snow-dusted forests, to quiet, flickering hearths inside timber-framed homes. This is the land of the Norsemen, more commonly known as the Vikings, but not the roaring, battle-hardened Vikings of storybooks and cinema. Instead, we'll be stepping quietly into the ordinary, often overlooked reality of Viking life. Beneath the helmets and longboats, there was a slower, more grueling rhythm to their world, one of hunger, of cold, of patience and repetition. It was a world where survival took precedence over glory. We'll begin by slipping into the worn shoes of a Viking farmer, one of thousands who toiled in the silent spaces between the sagas. Then we'll follow the twisting path of Egil Skallagrimsson, a poet and warrior whose troubled soul lives on through ancient verse. We'll descend into the mysteries of Viking burial ships, symbols of prestige and spiritual questions still unanswered. And finally, we'll enter the halls of the Viking elite, where mead flowed freely. But danger and politics often loomed just behind the carved wooden doors. So now, settle in, allow your breathing to slow, let the worries of today gently fade away, and imagine yourself somewhere far older, somewhere colder, a world of stone, smoke, and salt. Let us begin. Segment 1. Why it sucked to be a Viking farmer in Greenland. Imagine yourself on the edge of the world. It's early morning in Greenland, around the year 1000. The air is still and sharp, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones before your eyes have fully opened. Your breath is visible in soft, white clouds. You roll out of a bed made of packed straw and animal skins, brushing frost from your hair, because yes, even indoors the cold persists. You are a farmer, not a warrior, not a raider, not one of the heroes sung about in the long halls of the Jarls. You are one of the many who stayed behind when the longships sailed. Outside, your homestead is humble, timber walls built from driftwood and turf. Smoke drifts slowly from a low chimney, carrying the scent of peat and dried fish. The ground is frozen half the year. The soil is rocky. Your small herd of sheep wanders near the coastline, searching for the last bits of moss. You spend your days mending fences, collecting seaweed to mix into animal feed, and praying that this year the sea ice won't come too early. There's no grand adventure here, only repetition. You share your home with a dozen others, family, in-laws, a hired worker perhaps. Privacy does not exist. Snoring, coughing, the soft whispers of worry at night. These are the sounds that fill the quiet moments. Your meals are plain. Flatbread made from barley you barely manage to grow. Salted meat, if you're lucky. More often it's fish dried stiff in the sun and softened by stew. You've eaten the same thing for days, and you will eat the same thing tomorrow. Winters are long. The darkness lasts for months. Days pass where the sun barely rises above the horizon, casting a dim orange glow over the snow-covered fjords. The light is fleeting. Fires are weak. Candles are precious. And with the cold comes silence. Not peaceful silence, but the heavy, isolating quiet that presses against the mind. That makes your thoughts echo. That turns every creaking floorboard into a voice. You think of the others, the ones who left for Vinland or Iceland or died at sea. You think of the gods, of Thor, Odin, and Freya. But they feel distant now. The old rituals are still followed, but with more habit than hope. Offerings left at stones, words whispered in the dark. Illness is common. Medicine is scarce. A cough in autumn can linger until spring, A broken bone can mean the end of your usefulness to the household, and no one talks about it. The weak are cared for quietly until they are not. Sometimes you dream of sailing away, of becoming a trader or a raider or anything but what you are. But those dreams fade as fast as the daylight, replaced by the urgent work of survival. And yet, this is your life, steady, relentless, rooted in a land that barely welcomes you. Each morning brings the same burdens, and each night you find a quiet, aching kind of peace, not in success or comfort, but simply in enduring. This was the life of the Viking farmer, a life rarely sung about, a life of quiet strength. And now we leave behind the frost-covered fields and turn to the poetry of violence and verse, a man who was both beast and bard. Let me know when you'd like me to continue to segment 2, where we'll follow the stormy path of Egil Skallagrimsson,